We're talking about how do you inspire farmers. So could you just you talk a little more about that, because it is a challenge. Because I have also kind of volunteered for a couple of projects where we were trying to educate farmers to shift to organic farming, but it is a challenge in a country like ours, where they have to pay loans, they have to, they're dependent on rain. So it's a very different kind of scenario in India. So challenges are multifold. So how do you think you are able to manage this and create a sustainable kind of a model?
Yeah. So, Monica, there are two parts to what I do. One is my own passion and seed keeping, and that's why that seed man and all that thing that happens. Right. That's my Hariali seed farms, which is one part of what I do. But otherwise, I devote myself completely to doing voluntary work for the agriculture vertical of the Art of Living Foundation. That's headed by Sri. So here we work, and I personally work with 2.2 million farmers across the country. And it is all about training them in sustainable chemical-free methods of farming. It's called Sri Natural Farming. But basically, it is a method of farming where you teach a person how to do sustainable chemical-free farming and develop the markets for him. See, end of the day, for a farmer, it is how much money he will have left at the end of the season in his hands. You can tell him all about the, saving the nature, climate change, biodiversity, but end of the day, it's his livelihood. Yeah. So he needs to know that whatever he does, will he have enough money left at the end of the season? So our job actually becomes very easy now when we confront farmers who are doing chemical farming. Because what's happened today in chemical farming is it's a vicious cycle that the farmers have landed in. Because to do farming, the cost of input is very high. First of all, hybrid seeds, they cost a fortune. If you use hybrid seeds, you have to use fertilizer, because as a plant breeder, when we make a plant variety, a hybrid variety or a GMO variety, the first thing that we are looking at is how quickly does it absorb fertilizer to become biomass. These are the genes that we are looking for. How quickly does it absorb the fertilizer from the ground? The faster it does it, the better the variety. Okay, so fertilizer absorption is the key parameter in plant breeding. Okay, so the guy, first of all, the farmer pays through his nose to buy the seed. Then he pays through his nose to put the fertilizer. Now, when you put chemical fertilizer, it's like growing a baby on booster food. The baby looks very healthy. The baby looks very nice, roly-poly, rounded and all that. But one breeze and it'll fall sick. Because inherent immunity is not there. That resilience is not there internally. It's all like, superfood, that's been given, and very, very nice, very chubby cheeks. You can pull the cheeks and, all that you can do, but inherently weak. So farmer pays for the seed, pays for the fertilizer, and he's got this lovely stand of crop, but that crop is inherently weak against disease and pests. Now, he spends again through his nose because he has to put fertilizer, he has to put, fungicides and pesticides and everything. Now, while growing the crop, he has to put weedicides because no farm labor is easily available. Farm labor is expensive. So he puts weedicides. Then he grows this particular crop. But the risk by the time the harvest comes, he has a high risk exposure because he has already spent so much of money God only knows what the mandi price will be. He might have used all his sweat and blood and all his money to grow that tomato crop. He's got a wonderful yield, but if the market rate is 1 rupee a kilo, the cost of transportation is not good enough. He just has to let it rot.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
on the field.
Right.
Point number 2, what happens if there is a hailstorm? What happens if there is an extreme weather condition at the time of harvest? He loses everything. And when he loses, he's lost everything because he has borrowed money to grow the crop. He may have pledged his jewels. He may have pledged his land. And what happens to him?
Right.
So this is the vicious cycle that the farmers are in. And so what happens when you introduce a method of farming where your input cost is negligible? That's why they call Palekarji's zero budget natural farming. Zero budget means it's not zero, but it's like insignificant is the cost of cultivation because you use desi beej, indigenous seed,
Yes.
which means
Yes.
every season the farmer makes his own seeds. See, as a kid, you would have seen in Kashmir, farmers did not go to the market to buy seeds those days. You know, beautiful carrots that in the valley, they used to grow those carrots and radishes and turnips and all those things that kids used to eat raw.
Yes.
The seeds were never bought from the market by the farmers. They used to make seed from seed. Every year, at the time of harvest, they would harvest and then they would retain some plants to make seeds. And they would preserve the seeds and they used to grow. So seed cost is zero. All the nutrient required for the plant is made from what is there in the farm, like cow dung, cow urine, then besan ka atta, which anyway the farmer has, gur, which the farmer has, jaggery. All this is used to create the bioformulations. So no cost of fertilizers or this. Then when it comes to pesticides or pest repellents, because in our farming technique, we don't kill the pest. We just make the plant unattractive to the pest. So when he makes things like Neemastra, Brahmastra, Agniastra, and all these things, it is made from what is there in the farm. Nothing he has to go to buy. So the only reason he goes to the market is to sell. So the risk exposure, and because it's native, it's like your gali ka kutta, it's like street dogs. What care, except maybe somebody gives them one rabies shot in the beginning, but that's it. After that, what? Does anybody feed them pedigree food? Does anybody get the vet to keep on doing anything for them? Nothing. They just survive, right? Okay, they may not be the prettiest looking dogs. They may not be the most photogenic dogs, but the fact is that they're good, So that is what happens with indigenous varieties. They may not give you the yield of the hybrid variety, but they don't give you the risk of the hybrid variety. And if you just play a little bit with the seed density of planting and things like that, we have shown that you can get as much, if not more, than chemical farming. And 22 lakh farmers
are incredible.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like in my Haryali farm, in my own farm, I don't use, not even a grain of urea has entered that farm. And you come to my farm, it's absolute paradise. It's just so lush, so green. How does it happen? Because we have gone back to our Vedic techniques, which are ancient techniques, very sustainable techniques. They sustained us for thousands and thousands of years. So this entire myth that, your productivity will go down if you shift to organic farming is very wrong. It's extremely wrong. And what we propagate is not really organic farming, it's natural farming. Big difference. At some point, I will talk to you about it, but big difference. So we go back to what this land was doing 10,000 years ago. That is natural farming. We let nature do everything the way it knows how to do it. We get out of the way and we are there only to harvest it. That's all we do in natural farming, So this is a sustainable technique which farmers, when we talk to them, they suddenly realize because they have lost fertility in their soil. They've lost the texture, their beautiful soil where they could actually put their hand 6 inches inside, just like that. Today, it requires a disc plow that is 2 feet dia with a tractor to come and chop it. It's like become like brick, their soil. It's because they use of chemical fertilizers. Their bore wells have gone down. It's gone down 1,000 feet now. in many areas. Even in Punjab today, 4, 5, 600 is like common. Punjab used to have water table. You just
Yes.
dig 1 foot and
Yeah.
you'll get water. Today it's gone down 400, 600 feet, So farmers know that what they are doing is not correct, but they didn't have an option. So when we go and talk to them about this and we actually get them to do it by creating model farms, but most importantly, get them the market. So give you an example, our Agriculture Trust of the Art of Living, we revived a 2000-year-old wheat variety, which was grown earlier in Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, and Kashmir, and all these areas. It was grown. It's a wheat that is round in shape. The grain itself is
I know
round.
that.
It's golden color. You would have seen it. Now, this wheat, we revived it. Our founder, he named it Sona Moti because it looks like a moti and it's got the color of Sona. So we revived it, and this I did 4 years ago. And today, my farmers are ecstatic because we have connected them to markets, direct to customer markets, where they are selling their wheat at 75 rupees a kilo. Minimum support price for wheat in Punjab today is 19 rupees. That's commercially grown wheat. My farmers are getting 75. So what if he gets 20% less yield? Farmers interested in how much money there is in his hand at the end of the season, So this is how we have to work with farmers. So it's not just teaching them how to grow it, but linking them, to the markets. And a lot of these markets are direct to customer markets. So now there is huge, NCR is the biggest market for those Sona Moti growers. And in NCR, people are very particular about the atta they eat. They want it to be gluten-free. They want it to be low glycemic. And they don't mind spending 150 rupees to buy kapli atta. Kapli variety atta. Whereas my farmers are giving it at 75. So customer is happy. Farmer is happy. You're not endangering the land. You're making the land more productive. You're saving the biodiversity. What more, Monica, can you ask for?
I think this is incredible. When you're narrating this entire story of, farmers earlier could just put their hands inside and feel their soil. It reminds me of my childhood days. My grandfather, he used to love gardening. And incidentally, he had a small piece of land in Jammu, I'm talking about. So he had a small piece of land. And I remember that he managed this entire piece of land himself. He did everything on his own. And, I remember how he used to conserve his seeds. I remember that entire process. I can connect the dots now when you narrated this entire process and you shared how it has to be done. The feel of the soil was different. I completely relate to it because as a child, we used to play with that, the same soil. And now when I have a small garden in my terrace, so the soil is different. It becomes like a rock, if you don't put water. So what has happened to our soil? It's like completely gone. What characteristics it might be having, it's no more there. We as a country, we were known for rich soil. If I remember it correctly, I don't think so. This is the soil depletion is another concern that's happening, obviously because of the tons and tons of pesticides and fertilizers we are dumping to get certain amount of yield. If yield is the only thing, and the way you narrated that if we follow the right form of agriculture, which is sustainable, I think, it's no brainer. I don't think it's like, it's difficult to convince or educate the farmers or the community at large to, take up this and create a scalable model, a large scale model. It's so interesting.
Yeah. And as a home gardener, let me tell you this. Now, you have experienced this. Every other year, your Mali will come and say, your gardener will come and say, मेम साहब ये पावर कम हो गया, ये मिट्टी में, मिट्टी चेंज करने का है, you know, and he will say that I have to change. So he will take out all the pots, he will take out all the soil, he will get somebody to come and take out the soil from your garden, and he will bring some fresh soil, and then he will mix, and that will last for a year, year and a half. Again he'll go back to the same thing.
Right.
You know, when you do natural farming, like I'll give you this example. When I started my seedling nursery in Haryali Farms in 2011, okay, when I started a seedling nursery to make vegetable seedlings, even today in 2021, that same soil I am using. Every year the soil becomes more enriched. The microbial equilibrium, the soil, the nutrition solubilizing microbes become more stabilized, and every year the soil becomes richer. So the mantra here is mitti har saal aur powerful ho jayega. Instead of saying mitti mein abhi power khatam ho jayega, that's their favorite phrase, you know. Mitti mein power nahi hai.
Right. That's what they say. Yeah. I completely
And so
understand.
what you have done is, the moment you put chemical fertilizer, you put NPK, urea, you see in the soil particles, they have a natural way of repelling each other so that air pockets will form in the soil. That's what makes the soil soft. And the air is required because the roots breathe. The roots need air to breathe. If the soil, the air in the soil, those pouches there, it's called vapsa in Hindi. It's called vapsa. Vapsa in the soil means that those intercellular stitial spaces in the soil, between the soil particles, where the roots can breathe and penetrate. Okay. Now, when you put chemicals, what happens is that they change the charges on the soil particles. So what happens is, instead of repelling each other, the soil particles start to clump. That's what makes the soil hard. And when it makes the soil hard, if it rains, for example, why do we get so much floods? Because the soil is hard, the water just runs away. It doesn't have time to percolate. In the olden days, rain used to come. Yeah, okay, we would get occasional floods if it was extraordinary climate. But otherwise, you would see the whole night it will rain. And when you go in the morning into your garden, your foot will sink about 6 inches into the soil because the soil is so soft, right? Today, it's not like that. You can, night it might rain, next morning you go, you will just slip and fall because, you know, the soil is not soft anymore. It's